will be on the ballot, but also they will be serving on the board. And then we have a write-in for the third opening on the board. So that will actually be an opportunity for people to write in someone, and then whoever receives the majority of the write-in is offered a seat on the board. So that's the way that piece works. And we hope, yes?
Is that the most votes in the writing or the majority? Just the person with the most votes?
The most votes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, we want everyone to come out to vote, even though it's a zero budget. We want to hear from the people, and so it's the budget, it's the proposition, and the trustee elections. And voting is from 2 till 9 on May 20th at the 4 elementary schools. So please come out and vote. And I also encourage you, besides these handouts, if you go on the website, there's a lot of shortcuts under right in the middle of the website where you can see pictures, a lot of pictures of why we need to do this work and why we're proposing this work. There's also a video. We're now on YouTube, and there's links that way too. And there's a couple of open houses that are coming up. One is on May 7th, Wednesday at the middle school, high school, and Jared Mance, our Director of Facilities, and Victoria McLaren will be there. And also one is on Monday, May 12th at Phoenicia. Both of those, I think, are at 7 p.m.
And that's to take everybody around and show them the work that needs to be done.
Correct. Correct. So we welcome
Yeah.
you and we invite you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add something to that presentation. Hopefully everybody does have this handout, but just to say that we're actually, as a district, we are actually quite excited about getting these repairs taken care of. I've been on the board 5 years, Anne's been on for 6, and we haven't engaged in this level of repair. It is really greatly needed. You'll be able to see on the second page here, the bottom of the middle column is explaining about the advantages of having a biomass boiler at Phoenicia. And we are very, very excited to have this dual burner. So we will actually be having a woody biomass boiler there, and you can see the advantages that, as it says towards the bottom, a renewable source of energy that can be found locally. We can't promise it'll be kept in New York, but it'll be kept in the Northeast, so that's keeping our dollars local. And additionally, it's actually going to reduce the cost of our actual energy. And this was quite a long time coming. The Facilities Committee has worked very, very hard to put this together. And although there are other districts that have been enacting woody biomass boilers, we're still very much in the vanguard of this. You may have heard, I think just recently to do with the state budget, talk about encouraging woody biomass, and we're really pleased to be out there in the forefront of this. So this to us is a win-win situation, and I would encourage anybody here to come to both the open houses. If you want to see what's going on in your own town, that one would be Phoenicia next week, and for the district-wide, the middle school, high school, that would be this Wednesday. I just want to say that we are really quite glad that we're hoping to get that done. It does need the voter support, and just to reiterate, the $5 million is in a reserve fund. We were authorised at the previous election to put that money into reserve. So it's asking the voters to actually release that money to spend it on these repairs. So we would just want to really clarify that we're not asking anybody to come up with $5 million. We actually have it. We're looking to start spending the money on the much needed repairs, and in the long term reducing our energy costs and keeping those renewable and keeping them local. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
And I think we're always here to take any questions as well that you might have about any of this.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I just got 2 questions. One is on fund balance. After the fund balance runs out, where is the school going to get the money from?
I believe that we are projecting next year, if everything that we have proposed is approved, we will still have, I believe it's $8.8 million in our reserve accounts. And so in the next few years, we've already begun discussing that we are going to have to start looking for other ways to achieve savings, because, as I think you're pointing out, we're not going to be able to offset to this degree. So one thing we're not gonna be able to do is the smaller capital projects within the budget, but we're gonna have to continue to use some of that fund balance. And some of it is still fund balance that we have left from the settlement of the tax shares. So we are required to give that back. We're just trying to do it in a steady, consistent way instead of dumping it all in one year, because as you know, with the tax levy limit, then we can't make it up in the next year on the levy.
I got one other question for the board. It's come to the attention, I've discussed it with other board members, that in Ontario School, people have informed us that there's some sort of problem with the drug heroin going around. Can you guys address that?
Actually, I can't, because I don't know of any incidents within the school. I am aware, you said you want me to come up, all I'll say is I'm aware of what I'm reading in the press, and hearing on the radio and seeing on TV locally about this being a statewide problem. But in terms of talking about within the schools, I would actually have to hand over to the superintendent, because she would be the one dealing with anything that may be going on in the schools.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that there isn't a concern. We're always concerned about any drug, and the heroin epidemic that's going on is huge. But I have, when students end up in any situation where they may come to me, where they maybe come to me through a superintendent's hearing regarding drugs or alcohol or anything of that matter, I've not had any, thank goodness so far, any referrals based on that.
Well, is the school doing anything to educate the kids about this epidemic?
There are health classes with the students. We have a very strong guidance department, along with social workers and psychologists at the secondary level completely. We have social emotional supports in the schools all the way through, and we have an after-school program for students that are at risk, that sometimes we may place them in that program if we see that we or their parents are concerned about their children. We also have a pairing of at-risk youth with mentors in our school. So as far as we're concerned, our eyes are wide open, and we do educational programs, but at this point, we've not seen it. I mean, now, like I said, it is a very, it's an awful drug, and it's going on at epidemic proportions. I've checked in with local police because we've been looking at this as part of, discussions about SROs and things like that. Right now, things seem to be going well, but we are keeping our eyes very open and making sure we're looking at all situations. And if someone is aware of a situation, where they're concerned about their child and they want to make a referral, or if a child even comes forward to an adult, we follow up on all of those things, including anything that comes up on Facebook where a student may be scared or concerned. They typically do come to an adult if they have trusting relationships.
So is this mostly like volunteer, like they have to come and ask you about this, or is this like mandatory that they have to go and be educated on this, like paperwork sent home to parents, or?
In the health program, they have to have the health course,
Right.
and they do discuss it as part of the health
Okay, so that's
curriculum.
interesting.
In terms of the after-school at-risk group program that we have, we will mandate that they go to that.
Yeah.
So if something's presenting itself that's making us concerned about a student,
Like
that,
telltale signs of like a kid could be like slipping into this.
right, or if there's something else that might be related, or,
Right.
that just seems like at-risk behavior, we can place students in that program, and I've done that at superintendent hearings, for drug and alcohol awareness. Like I said, I'm not saying we're immune to it. It seems to be an epidemic, but right now, nothing has immediately come to my attention.
Phyllis, you mentioned resource officers. Is that a program that's going to be reinstated, or is it now, or?
The board is currently still in discussion about it. Right now, we've been looking at our violent and disruptive incident reports for the district, and actually, we've reduced violent and disruptive incidences in the district by 2/3 over the past few years. So we've been watching the trends, we've been speaking with local police. It's still something that the board has visited annually to discuss, but right now there's no decision.
So there is no resource officer?
There is no resource officer at this time. We do work closely with the different law enforcement agencies.
The older boilers that you have those in the school that you were talking about changing them, are those the old, like, I mean, from the 60s?
Original.
Because I
Yes.
gotta say, I'm glad to see you changing them. I actually worked, I was a custodian in Woodstock. And I used to have to crawl under those to help fix those and work on them. And I'll tell you what, they were a disaster. And that was like 15 years ago. And
They
they were
did
bad
take
then.
care of the Woodstock boiler, but the Phoenicia building, which is equal, of the same age, I believe, as Woodstock, that's not been replaced.
Wow, that's really good.
And the high school and middle school have their original boilers.
Yeah, well,
I got one more question about West Hurley.
Yes.
What are they gonna do with West Hurley? Are they
Well,
gonna sell it? Or are they
This
gonna
is,
keep spending
well,
money
the
there?
board's going to have a discussion about it actually at tomorrow night's board meeting. What we've done already is we had to separate, the West Hurley Fire Department was interested in some of the property right next to their fire station. So we did separate that land and we did sell them that land. I know that Victoria and Jared last week went out with the town assessors for the town of Hurley because it's assessed at over, it's like $3.2 million. And we know the property is not worth that much, so if someone even bought it, in the process of trying to get a proper assessment, they'd have to pay taxes on that. So we're working on reducing that. We were approached by at least one realtor, and so the board is having an open discussion about it at the board meeting tomorrow night.
I got two quick questions, Hills. Sorry.
That's fine. It's a
And
good
I'd like to take this
opportunity.
opportunity on behalf of the veterans in the school district to thank the school board and yourself for the
thank you.
support on the veterans tax exemption. So I'd like to say thank you for
Thank
that.
you, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. You,
Appreciate that.
You mentioned the existing guidance counselor, I'm sorry, the FTE ESL position to be created as a district position and eliminated from BOCES budget.
Yes.
Is BOCES and the district budget two separate
Yes,
entities?
they're the same budget.
Oh, they
So
are?
it's really just moving it from one
Okay.
code to another.
That was my question, if the district was taking on a BOCES funded,
No, it's,
Okay.
you know, we receive aid on it, but the entry fees into purchasing that, the cost of that is high, so it doesn't really make up for getting the aid from it because we can fund it for less.
all right. Also with the proposed 2014 budget transportation contract, you said it's a 5-year contract, and Victoria, I didn't quite follow it, but if the number of students goes down over the next 5 years and there's restrictions on bus routes and stuff, will the budget reflect that, or are we stuck with the budget that we have now, and if it's
No.
less?
This is, what we're presenting on that chart is our projection of what it will cost. The way the contract is set up, we have a price for a 3-hour bus, a price for a 4-hour bus, a price for a 5-hour bus, but we dictate how many of those vehicles we need. So this is the projection based on what is in existence right now, because we don't necessarily know
So
5
it's-
years from now.
Right, so in 5 years, if the number of students end up going down appreciably or whatever, it will reflect in the school
Correct.
budget, right?
We are
In the bus
allowed
budget.
to add or reduce the number of bus runs we have every year based on our needs, and there is no penalty for that in the contract.
Right, so you just pay for the runs?
We pay for the runs that we need, which is
Good.
wonderful flexibility.
Yeah, it's very.
But we had to come up with a projection to show it to the voters of what the 5-year contract would look like. So the best we could do is to say, this is what we have now, so we're going to project that out for 5 years.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Is that it?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks
for having us.
Appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
I'll just say, please remember to get out and vote on me.
All right.
Good job. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Do I turn this off?
Thank you.
Do you want
All right. Upcoming town board topics and activities, month of May 2014. Signs and kiosks. Kurt Boyer Design has completed the new town signs and they are ready for installation. Eric is trying to schedule a time when the crew can install these in the most efficient manner possible. Most of the time, signs should be installed prior to Memorial Day to welcome our summer visitors. As for information kiosks, thanks to Dave Shannon, the information panels are complete and we intend to start construction on these over the summer, starting with the kiosk to be placed in the Big Indian Park. We are advertising for volunteer contractors or simply the mechanically inclined to assist us on the installation of this kiosk in each of the designated areas, Phoenicia, Shandaken, Big Indian, and Pine Hill. In return for your assistance, the town will be placing plaques on each kiosk acknowledging either you or your company's donation of time. Each kiosk has 8 panels, 4 relating to the entire town's history, culture, recreational assets, geography, and special events. The other 4 are specific to the hamlets adjusted to where they are to be placed. Anyone interested in assisting the town in this effort may either call or email the town supervisor's office at 688-7165 or shandakensupervisor@yahoo.com. Every hand is welcome. Hanover Farms. After a lengthy and costly legal battle to the town and Hanover Farms reached an agreement to allow them to attempt to come into compliance with zoning laws for the operation. On Thursday, the ZBA will hold a public hearing on several variances that Hanover Farm is requesting in order to continue with their site plan review and possible reopening. Note that this hearing is not a public referendum, but a hearing on the right of Hanover Farms to vary from existing zoning codes / laws of the town. Anyone interested in participating should try to attend and have their voice heard. The meeting is to be held here Thursday, May 8th at 7 o'clock, but we advise you to arrive early as Hanover Farms are promoting the meeting starting time at 6:30 p.m. Planning and building. There are 2 resolutions concerning the planning and building department. The first is simply recognizing the planning board's selection of the Chazen Company to assist them in their site plan review of the Bel Air Resort project. The town board needs to support this as a legal measure to allow us to pay them through vouchers. The second resolution, was said in the report, is to accept the resignation of the current planning, zoning, and building department secretary. We're nearing the height of building season and need a smooth transition while we consider all of our options. The supervisor has contacted several people who had previously shown an interest, and Julia Large has accepted to perform these duties on an interim basis to assist the town. We will be appointing an interim secretary for these activities and most likely advertising for the position with full appointment next month. Grants. The town has applied and been awarded 4 grants through the Shandaken Watershed Stream Management Program for stream work and detailed flood hazard analysis work. These grants have no local match requirements and total $102,000. The resolution tonight will allow us to move these projects ahead within the coming month. The flood hazard analysis will heavily involve Phoenicia and Mount Tremper areas and will be announcing upcoming public meetings specific to each of these hamlet areas. Resolutions. Tonight we have resolutions for the Festival of the Voice to approve their public assembly permit. This year's event is expanded to 5 days and is sure to be better than previous years. We are advertising for summer recreation counselors. Our next regular meeting will be scheduled for Monday, June 2nd, 2014 at 7 p.m.
Yeah, okay. Got one announcement. Patty Rudge got a hold of me and said that there will be a blood drive at the Big Indian Firehouse on May 31st. That's a Saturday. Not exactly the times involved in that, but probably 10 o'clock in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. But if you have any questions on that, contact Patty Rudge up in Oliveria.
Is it?
Yeah, that's it. Also, I'd like to, for our meeting adjournment in memory of, I'd like to include in that in memory of Sergeant Sean Farrell, who was killed in Afghanistan. He was a Stone Ridge resident.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to have him included in that too.
How do you spell that last name?
Sean Farrell, Farrell.
Your announcements.
I'm sorry?
Your announcements.
Yeah, what?
Okay. The annual open burning ban is still in effect until May 15th, and at that time you can get your burning permits at the town clerk's office. Computer classes are going on right now. They're in their second week, but you can still sign up, and they're every Wednesday night from 6 to 7:30 at the Phoenicia School until June 11th. You can call the town clerk's office to sign up. Upcoming events in town, Saturday, May 10th is the 4th annual bake-off fundraiser for the Phoenicia Library and Mama Boy's Restaurant. Enter now and stop in at Mama's Boy or the library to register. All items will be auctioned off at noon on that day. We have a rabies and distemper clinic for dogs and cats here at the town hall on Saturday, May 17th, 10 to noon. Rabies shots are $10, distemper $15, no appointment needed. The Thunder Bear Spring Festival is coming up in Big Indian at the park on Saturday, May 17th. Call Mary Lou or Frank Stapleton at 254-4423 to be a vendor or to just get information.
4238, isn't it?
I have 254-4423. Okay. 4238 also. 4238, I don't know who 4423 is. The Spring Flea Market and Bake Sales at the Shandaken United Methodist Church on Saturday, May 24th. Vendor space is available. Call 688-7164. The annual Boy Scout Yard Sale is May 24th and 25th. Donations are needed. Call Nancy Holgate at 688-5823. And the blood drive that Vinnie mentioned is on Saturday, May 31st, 9 to 1 p.m. Call Patty Rudge for info. And lastly, the Phoenicia United Methodist Church is looking for folks to donate gently used items for their thrift store. Call 688-7164 for more info or to arrange pickup. Very busy month.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Hey, anything for us?
Nothing at the moment.
I just want to mention that I talked to Mike down in formerly Russ's Country Kitchen. He's going to be reopening it. Mike is, and I told him I'd mention that he will be opening very, very shortly. It's good to have a new business Thursday.
What is that? Or Memorial Day?
My Joyce.
Oh,
Yeah, he bought Russ's.
good.
And then
Saw the new sign.
Yeah.
That's it? That's it?
That's it.
And on Memorial Day, we have the Veterans Parade on the 27th. What time is it?
10:30.
10:30? Okay. And I want to thank everybody who helped get the Little League Baseball going this year. I'm pretty sure it's underway. And I actually want to congratulate Bill Rudge on the half marathon that he ran down in Kingston on the Kingston Classic they had. And being a runner myself, this really impressed me that he ran 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 54 seconds and a half a marathon. So that's like a 3-hour marathon. He really ran a good race.
2 miles.
Yeah, wow.
On the Memorial Day parade, was Robert talking about some units from the Marine Corps being there, or is that?
I think there's a program they have what they call for the poolees, which are future recruits. Going to take place either at the Parish Field or down there at the Emerson Field. They're going to have drill instructors come up and put them through their paces for a day, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to do the Memorial Day parade or not. I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. All right, so moving on. Go on to committee reports. Ambulance. I saw you standing there.
Good evening.